this might be the best for her, it might inspire her. And although it was devastating for me personally, simultaneously, of course, grieving is a process, and it was a grieving process for me to be separated from my only child, who has meant so much, and every person, every woman who is a mother, you know what it is, this attachment to your children. It's very deep and very strong and important. But anyway, so I also moved to I left this, well anyway, before I start, I would just like to pay some respects to Srila Prabhupada, to Guru Parampara, and I would also like to pay my respects and obeisances to the devotees here on Almvik's door. People come here and they think it's nice and it's beautiful. I'm just here enjoying, you know, but behind everything is so much responsibility, so much struggle, you know. We don't see that, so I just pay my obeisances to all the devotees who, despite the challenges, despite the obstacles, continue to try to develop this farm community. Anyway, I have to... By the way, I'm really not a public speaker, but I will try my best. And I tried yesterday evening before going to bed. I tried to make up some points what to speak about, so it became a little bit clearer. Well, first of all, well, I can just mention, I have jumped to the time when my daughter Annapurna Devi was 14 and she moved to the US to go to this boarding school, and she never came back. She went to this Lakshmi Nomi's ashram, and then she went to college, and then she went. I actually thought she would be here with me because it's a little easier to have somebody else to share, you know. I feel like I like to share with you, you know, not just being an older devotee, giving my wisdom and advice, you know. Anyway, I came here to the farm when my daughter was only 6 months old, and me and her dad, Yogendra Prabhu, we were running a preaching center in Oslo. And to have a child running a preaching center, my perception was that a child is better to be on a farm. She can grow up. Who doesn't want to let your children grow up in a beautiful place like this, you know, away from city life and be surrounded by nature? At that time, it was a devotee couple, Kirtan and Hari Puja. Kirtan, I don't know if you know who they are. Kirtan was, they are from the US, and he was temple president here. They actually live in the same community as I do now, in Alachua, in Florida. Well, anyway, I have always loved Almvik, and I thought I would spend the rest of my life here. You know, I never had any plans to go to big corporate US, you know. That was the last place on my places of preference. You know, things happens which seems to människans spår och Gud rår. I don't know the translation in English, but oh yeah, right. Man proposes and God disposes. So it's not that sometimes we might feel that we are in control of our life and we make the decisions. But as you get older, you very well realize that this is not the case. Things happen. That's not planned. Almvik has been a very important place for me, like spending 16 years and wanting to spend the rest of my life here and ending up in the US, you know, the big corporation country, which anyway, so I haven't been here for 8 years. It was 8 years ago since I visited Almvik last time, so it's nice to be here and hopefully catch up with old friends and share our lives. I find the nicest, the sweetest, and most, perhaps, one of the most inspiring things in spiritual life is connecting and sharing, you know, to tell about your life and to listen, you know, not just talk about yourself, but listen to what are other devotees going through in their life and, you know, trying to be a friend and encourage anybody. I actually, I read a really nice, it's just one sentence, I'm not a big reader, but I do love the Bhakti scriptures and find so much depth and inspiration. And this is from the 10th canto, chapter 1, and Srila Prabhupada writes that Krishna is the super soul of all living beings. We all have heard that. But he also writes that he gives liberation to everyone, even if he's not a pure devotee. So I thought that was very encouraging. And so one who seeks protection at the lotus feet of Krishna is immediately protected. And having spent like 40 plus years on the path of Bhakti, I can tell by experience that the shelter and the beauty and the nourishment that comes from practicing Krishna consciousness is just priceless. And it's not that it deteriorates, it's rather the opposite. It might go, when I lived here in Almvik, I was like a pujari, Sankirtan devotee, taking care of kids and cooking Sunday feast, all the things that you do in regular temples. So it was a lot about engaging my physical body. You know, I didn't think so much about Krishna when I was doing all these things. Now in my life, it's more about an internal cultivation. I would actually like you who are here, that we take a moment and close our eyes and asking ourselves the question, what is it that makes me attracted to Sri Krishna? It can be one thing, it can be many things. And many of us, we have read, we have heard so much philosophy, but to take it into our heart and cherish just one of the qualities that is that Krishna has, and just be there in that space and feel that there is a connection. What does Krishna mean to me? And usually it is like, how can I serve you? But you can also turn it around. Krishna, do you really love me? How can I feel your presence in my life? And yeah. Okay. So here you see my notes now. They ended here. So now I don't have any more notes to lean on. I did write the word here, seeds. Everybody knows what seeds are. You have a tiny little seed, you know, and it doesn't have any meaning. But if you put a seed in the ground, depending on where the seed comes from, it can grow into a blazing flower. It can grow into a beautiful tree. So one of the major things that has kept me absorbed and engaged in Krishna consciousness, from leading a sheltered temple environment to living as an independent devotee, is that it started here on the farm, actually, and it began when my daughter went to the US. I felt an inspiration to make artwork. I always wanted, my whole life I have been inclined towards art, but joining Hare Krishna, you know, you have to do the needful. That was what we were doing at that time, so I had to, you know, like, push down all my own, what I wanted to do for many, many years. But as I left the temple environment, I embarked on a path to tune into myself. Who am I? What do I want to do? And I felt that I felt this desire to make an illustrated Ramayana. I don't know where it came from, but it started here on the farm, so it's quite a long time ago. And why I was speaking about seeds, it's because I said that the seed, it started here on the farm, and so the seed to make a beautiful illustrated Ramayana trilogy, it was born here in Almvik. And you know, life goes on, moving to the US and moving to Philadelphia, moving down to Florida, Brinda. Yeah, I had this idea with the art, but I didn't have a writer. Who to ask to write this? I didn't know anybody, but then I was thinking about my daughter, and she wrote very, she could very well formulate words even when she was young. So I was thinking maybe she has grown up in this tradition, perhaps she can write it. So I asked her, and she lived in the US, and she was about to embark uh, uh, her dancing career. And when she was 19, she actually went to what is it called? Kalakshetra in South India, which is one of the more reputable dance schools that teaches classical Indian dance, Bharatanatyam. She was there for 5 years, and she wrote some chapters, and we sent it to the publisher, and he loved it. So it seemed like she was encouraged to continue to write it. So it's not that it was like, okay, we are going I'm going to do illustrations for Ramayana, and it was a seed. You don't really know how the plant, how it will grow. Will it grow straight? Will it go with many branches? So this is the same with our trilogy. It started as a small seed, and it grew it grew a little too big, but not too big, but I couldn't catch up so much. It was so many illustrations to do, so I have like done like 300 pieces for this book, and I mainly work. I have always been attracted. We have Jan Manalaya here. I think his artwork is so fantastic. It's like wow. He works with oil, and he makes this huge painting. I only work with watercolor, pencil, and ink, and I have no desire to try to experiment with any other media. It just fits my personality, and it fits what I wanted to do, which is mainly book illustration. Yoo-hoo! Hey, Linda. You want to come and sit here? Okay. I have just started on. I prepared a little bit, and now I have started here. And I have come to where the Sita Spire trilogy, and it helped me through very, to come to. I was like 20 when I joined, and very troubled, troubling teenage years and a lot of luggage. And I don't want to go into it; it's not necessary. But and pushing all the troubles down, surrendering to the wonderful mission of Lord Chaitanya, and feeling the belonging to. I had such a nice time. Spending my time here on Almvik, and all the wonderful devotees I got to know, friends. But then to find yourself from not having found yourself in the transition from being a full-time devotee to being independent and responsible for your own life, for your own. Yay!
Annapurna's husband, Michael.
Yeah, this is.
He's an angel for putting up with me for 19 years. How about that?
Ellen, this is a little bit personal, but he has been such a wonderful. Because artistic people usually are a little bit chaotic. I don't know if you are an artist or. So we all have different natures, and Len is an artist too. He's a musician, but he's like very level-headed, and he has never lived in a temple. He has been a professional school counselor. He's retired now, but stability it brought stability to my life, which has helped me so much to find out who I am, my nature, and to overcome a lot of what to say, depression. I have struggled a lot with depression in my life. And to be engaged, it was like a bridge. It helped me so much to be absorbed in doing these paintings, this picture for the Sita's Fire trilogy.
And I got to have our house turned into an art gallery.
Yeah, people come to our house.
Free admission every day. I just go and the Krishna art is all there. And here's some of it right here. And I'm sure Annapurna is going to share that with you all.
Well, Brenda, did you bring the books? Did you have them? No, you gave them back. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a really good quality. It's hard. The Sita's Fire trilogy. It's hardbound, and they are printed on very good quality paper because it's a full color printing, so they are quite heavy. I couldn't bring any with me. I had enough luggage, you know.
They can be ordered, right? Linda? The books can be ordered.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I will give you cards. You can order it from. They have on Amazon, so you don't worry. So I started with the seeds that manifested, and it has. So I have more or less for the last years exploring myself as an independent Hare Krishna devotee and finding inspiration where I find inspiration, and devoting myself a lot to do painting and artwork. And the painting, it actually started here on the farm too. Nobody knew I was an artist, and I was a little shy at that time, so I didn't want to. I found a place up in the attic here and made it into my studio and was sitting there and doing my art. And nobody knew what I was doing. Anyway, so now I finished the artwork for the Sita's Fire trilogy, and I have focused on production, being creative and productive. I have not focused hardly nothing on marketing and selling my art. I was a Sankirtan devotee for many years, and I don't like to sell things. Period. I just don't like marketing and selling, so I have almost an intact collection of Ramayana illustration, watercolor illustrations. And I'm in contact with Mahaprabhu. He's the director of MOSA, Museum of Sacred Art in Belgium. He has wanted to acquire my collection for some years, but life happens, COVID happens, so it became delayed, and I hope it will happen. I think it will happen, but the plans are that we hopefully will have an opening of the Sita's Fire trilogy artwork in the Museum of Sacred Art in May next year. And that's would be super inspiring for me as well, because I've never focused on doing any exhibitions, and of course I would like to share, and I think it's something that could potentially be appreciated by by people. And if it will be an exhibition there, it will be for 1 year. And at the same time, you can always have your plans and your dreams. I'm also dreaming of, or planning to have a cultural, because our whole family is a cultural family. So we have Vishwambar, who is one of the best Kirtan artists, and we have Brinda, who is a dancer, a writer, and we would like to put on a cultural, the exhibition, and then also a cultural show in Bangladesh next year. Perhaps a retreat. It's all in the plans, but it's something to, as you all know, time goes very fast, and with the help of the mercy of Panchatattva and the devotees, it could become a reality. Presently, I took after finishing the illustrations for the Sita Spire trilogy, I kind of felt like a relief, because it's been a back on my mind since I moved here from Mars. It's like, wow, finally, now I don't have to think about it anymore. So I did some, like just inspirational things. I like mostly to work by my own inspiration. I don't like so much to work. Somebody tells me, "Oh, I would like. Can you do a picture like this?" People ask me, like, "Can you do a picture of this?" And I kind of, yeah. And my excuse is that, well, I'm usually too. I am so busy. I have this and this and this and this to work. People ask me for illustrating books and things like that, but I usually, because if you work with somebody else, they want you to do something. What if they don't like what I do? Then there is this pressure. If I just work with my own inspiration, there is no pressure on. I try to do my best because I like beautiful things and I like my artwork to be as good as it can be. So there is no pressure for somebody else to. I don't need to take into consideration. Oh, I have to do this to satisfy that person. Well, I did. I took on illustrating. It will be a small book about Vrinda Devi, and it's one devotee, Varshana Swami. He lives in New Vrindavan. He has written a little book about Vrinda Devi, and I have had Tulasi for quite some years. The plant, and I felt that like I have a connection to Vrinda Devi. My daughter's name is Vrinda Devi, so it felt like it was something I would like. I wanted to do a picture of Vrinda Devi. So that's what I'm working on now. It's like I have done quite large. I measure in inches now since I'm in the US, but it's like this size. I have done like 4 pieces. When I go back, I will start with the last piece for that book. And so that's what I'm presently working on. And I also did, after the Sita's Fire trilogy, I felt like, well, I have so much art, how can I share this? So the best way nowadays to share something, I'm not so good with social media, Instagram and Facebook, a little bit presence there, but I wanted to compile an art book with the art from Sita's Fire, and I actually, now since I've been here, I went to an offset printer in Södertälje and I printed 10 copies. I had a file with me. It was a low-res file, so it's not like the best for printing, but it came out quite good. It's this one. The Art of Sita's Fire, a Mindful Meditation. Since I don't have the Sita's Fire trilogy to show who this from, I can show you some samples from this. It's fully illustrated. And the text is taken from the trilogy, because I'm really not much of a writer. So I use the text that inspired me to do specific pictures. And both Sita's Fire trilogy and the art of Sita's Fire, of course it's meant for devotees, but I think both me and Brinda had a general, like we wanted to reach out to people in general, right, Brinda? Wasn't that the idea? She has written the text so that people here in the West who doesn't know anything about Ramayana can understand it. So besides finishing working with this Mosa, I have to, when I get back to Alash, I have to work on the logistic to see how everything will work out, if it will work out. I hope so. Anyway, but I also, besides this is the major body of work that I have for the Sita's Fire, but I also have my favorite is I like very much Krishna in Vrindavan, so I love to do pictures of the cows, the cowboys, and the gopis, and so I have enough material to make a notebook more for like devotees, and that's what I want to do when I get back to Alacha too. I don't know about the text yet, but everything starts with seeds, right? Ideas. An idea is kind of, you can compare it to a seed. And let's see where this idea, seed, brings my next project. I just want to show you a little bit. I have a small business. I don't like to do business much, but I do have a small website where I sell art prints. And Sita's Fire trilogy, my art prints, I do this myself. It's cards, greeting cards. It's been one of my, doesn't bring hardly any money. I don't do it for money, but I have to be able to pay for the cost of making that, so some cost is there. So I have done this for many years, selling these cards, and it's definitely a bestseller. I sell to a few shops too. And then we have these are Shigir prints. And they are really good. You can hardly tell the difference from an original painting and a Shigir print. And I brought them with me here because I only sell my prints in the US because of the customs and problems with shipping and like that. So, like this, I don't know entirely the story behind it, but it's for this, I already printed it. And this is just taken by my, this picture is just taken by my phone, So, it's a little bit like, these are not gopis, they are servants of Vrinda Devi, and they are called Vana Devis. The spiritual world that we live in this material very limited concept or very limited, what to say, dimension. But like, if you seriously take up the path of Bhakti Yoga, you know, there is such another dimension opens up for you, which is like Krishna's dimension. It's unlimited, like constantly expanding, and there is so many new things to discover every single day, and you can go on and on and on. So these are servants of Vrinda Devi, and they are offering this scope of Krishna, and they are making their offerings to him. And I did it under the instructions of Vaishnava Maharaj, and he. I asked him, "But Vandevis, I don't know any picture. How do they look like?" Well, they are not. They shouldn't look like gopis. So I tried to make them, you know, a little different outfits. It was very fun. It engaged my mind in trying to figure out the costumes and how to depict them. This is for an artist. Like, there is so much inspiration to get from the Vedic scriptures and the stories. I myself wouldn't have done it, so I feel like it's important with Brahminical guidance, you know, because they can, Brahminical people, they read the Shastras, they can extrapolate, you know, meanings and understand things, and so I'm happy to have all the Brahminical learned people who can explain, because I can't, but so it's a beautiful, what to say, between people of different natures, you know, benefit each other. Brahminical people, they benefit me. I'm an artist. I love the stories of Krishna, but I don't have this ability to study, to gain knowledge, and to give that to others. But I can give my art, you know. So I have a whole bunch. Oh, that was the same. No, it wasn't the same. I have a whole bunch of pieces of Shiglia prints here, and if anyone wants to, I sold a bunch in Austria. We were there on a retreat, but I have these ones left, and they are 350 crowns each. So anyway, seems like I would like to open up this to, if any one of you, if you have any questions or would like to share something, like what is it that attracted you to Krishna consciousness, or what is it in Krishna that attracts you, his many beautiful qualities? Because, you know, having been a full-time devotee for so long, when I moved out from the temple, it was like, wow, I hardly know anything about Krishna. What's this? So I started to find out more, and it's in combination with morning meditation. I also do Qigong, I do Japa meditation, and it seems like having lived in the temple, going out in the world, and having been on vacations and exploring how to live a material life, now it's I feel it's like time to take more serious the internal call to connect more with the spiritual dimension, and hopefully share it to some extent with others. So maybe some of you would like to share what you feel is like something, or you have a question, opening up for a discussion here. Yes?
I would like to hear how it was for you when you said that you didn't want to even tell that you are an artist, and then you started to, on your own secret chamber, you started to paint Krishna. How was that when you started to discover his beauty? And do you remember what was your first picture? Was it?
Yeah, I have it as a print, but I don't think I have it here. It's still in my possession. The first painting I did of Krishna, I did it 92. It's hanging in my gallery/home in Alachua. It has a history also. It's been in different possessions and it came back to me. But how it was, you know, I had beginner's luck. Absolutely, you know. It's like, wow, it came out quite nice, you know. And then, you know, I just ran on that beginner's luck for some time, and then I came to where it felt like tedious, and I can't go on like this, what do I do now? And that's when I started to work with the Ramayana illustrations, which gave me much more freedom to explore, you know, painting demons, painting Sri Ram, and it's not Krishna's pastimes. And I remember clearly it was I did a large painting. It was like for water, yeah, like this large. I did it a painting with the gopis, and it took forever. And I was like, after the painting, no more paintings. That's it. But, you know, if you're an artist, it's like your nature. You pops up again, and yeah, I want to make another painting. So it's very satisfying to paint pictures of Krishna, because if I would, there are so many artists out there. They amazing artists, you know, they do amazing things, and they're amazing watercolor artists. But to paint a picture of Krishna, it's a little bit like, it has a spiritual significance that a landscape painting doesn't have, you know. So in that sense, I feel that it's yoga, you know. My art is, you know, when I work on pictures, spiritual pictures, Ramayana, Krishna, it's connects me. So I would like all of you to find your connection if you already haven't had it. It's usually something that you have stayed with you your whole life, and it's usually something that you feel inspired. You don't have to force yourself to do it. You have an inherited nature that Krishna gave you, and acting, working with that nature. Wow, that's empowerment. You know. I hope that answered your question a little bit.
And your paintings have really been one of those ways that I have felt connected, especially to Srimati Radharani.
Yeah.
Your way of paint her is something really special.
Thank you.
And Krishna's and her connection, it's like, yeah.
Oh, so you know my paintings from before?
Oh yes, I have used them a lot as gifts and, you know, greeting cards, and even with non-devotees they are touching because they are so full of the essence, but in a very not in a pushing way, quite an innocent way.
Mm.
Yes. So I really appreciate your work.
Thank you.
I'm eager to see if you have something that I haven't seen earlier.
So is there any one of you who like to share how you feel that you are, or Brinda, do you want to add something? No, you just want to be there. Yes?
I'll ask something. How does it feel, coming back here after 8 years and coming to a place that meant so much to you in your early development, in your early life, and your Krishna consciousness, which was, Almvik was so fundamental to your, just everything KC. And then how does it feel coming here and you see, you have your art is still here. I mean, you did those 2 mantras there, and there's art outside in your temple in here. And now we also see these this wonderful new artists here with all this incredible art here. But how does it feel to come back home, in a sense, to you?
2 things. The trees has grown and the kids has grown.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe all of us who are here and participating in this, we could we come here, we participate, maybe we could pray to Panchatattva because, as I said from the beginning, to hold this place together, it's a lot of work and it's not easy financially, physically. There are people who like to develop this place, but maybe we can pray to Panchatattva that Almvik can get more resources to develop if they want to, to pray for Almvik because it's a quite unique Krishna conscious project. Like I live in a lecture, it's like several thousand devotees, so it's a big community. I maybe know 20 people or 70,000, and there is a beautiful temple, and it's, in my opinion, anybody can come there. There are other Vaishnava groups in the community. They can come to the temple. It's not like, oh no, you belong to another group, you cannot come here. It's not like that. It's very embracing. So it's very nice. But everybody lives there. They don't live like in a village like this where you can walk to each other. It's very spread out. And what else? Well, another thing that comes to my mind, you were asking about how it feels to come after 8 years. Well, I think I have become more, I feel like I'm in a good place. Usually you think old age is like, nobody wants to become old, but it's nice. I feel, perhaps the best place I have ever been in my life. All the challenges, the mistakes, all the luggage from my past life and this life before I joined, it's not there anymore. I just feel that my path is so clear, and it's not different from me when I lived here. I was much younger. The only thing has changed is that I have gotten a lot of drinks. But I'm trying to live with that, and it hopefully helps me to identify less and less with this body, and because we get this, we are born with this body, and along with the package is death, So if we can use the opportunity of this life to, especially when your family life is more or less over and you have more time and you can try to prepare yourself, because I mean death can come to any of us at any moment, but if we can, especially when you get older, it's more like, will I live another year, or will I live 10 more years? It's definitely, death is more present in our life as we get older, so. And it doesn't have to, death is a manifestation of Krishna, and because of my, I have had a lot of darkness and depression, so death is something that it doesn't scare me, you know, it's like, death actually doesn't exist. It's just, you leave your body and it's a transition into something, a new beginning, you could say. So, and we all have Srila Prabhupada to thank for that. My eyes just landed on Srila Prabhupada, and it felt like he's present. So I usually don't speak like this. I have my little house there in Alachua, and not much public speaking, but I hope because this presentation has given you something, and hopefully some inspiration or something to take with you, because I don't just want to sit here and talk some nice words. That's nice too, but it's not about me, it's more about you. Where are you in your spiritual life? How do you want to go forward? What inspires you to connect more with Krishna? And how can you see Krishna in your life? Like, I didn't know if I would use that. My time is almost up, but just quickly I wanted to, as the time goes on, it becomes like a part of your life, a part of your internal landscape, and Krishna is present there. This is perhaps, it's not part of a Bhagavatam class. So, and I have a female body, and I like clothes, and I like to shop clothes. You know, I like textiles, and you know, I don't look so good now, but all women, most women like to look pretty and have beautiful clothes. And okay, you say, well, that's just material. But you know, is it? You can take it further. Is it really material? Where does this desire come from? That I want to dress nicely in nice clothes. You can trace it all the way back to Krishna. Yeah, this desire is natural, you know. It comes from Krishna. I don't know, he has a Sanskrit names that he has special dance outfits, and he likes to look good to impress on Radha, you know. So even such a mundane thing, you can connect that to your relationship with Krishna. Okay, perhaps I shouldn't buy as many clothes as I do. Don't beat up yourself. It's not all the desires we have, they have a source, you know. Is there anybody who would like to say something more? Maybe share how you feel inspired?
It's Krishna's acceptance, like radical, complete acceptance.
Yeah. Absolutely, I love that too. Like I read, and in the beginning it was one sentence from the 10th canto of Prabhupada's purport that you know, that Krishna gives liberation to even somebody who is not a pure devotee. And I said, that's acceptance, right? Yes, we want more of that, because that's there. Krishna's name is Bhaktavatsala. There is nobody who is as dear to him. I mean, we might not be the dearest devotees, but we can definitely feel that we are dear to Krishna and embrace his loving presence. Not as a judge, oh, I'm not on the level of this or that, and I don't chant, you know, like with concentration. Be happy for what you can do. Krishna appreciates, you know. Okay, my time is up, and it's lunchtime, right? Everybody's favorite. Thank you very much for listening to me here today, and I'm glad we had this time to share. I tell you one thing, it's nothing to be nervous about, but you know, since I don't do much public speaking, I was kind of, oh no, what should I say? And maybe I get this, you know, brain fog, and I can't find the right words, and you know, so I was awake like half the night, and oh no, maybe I should cancel it. I can't. I mean, it's not a big thing, but you know, that's how my mind works a little bit. Thank you, everybody, and I wish you all the best on your own internal journey on the way back to the spiritual, blissful kingdom of Lord Shri Krishna and Ajatattva and Balaram. Hare Krishna.